All righty, let's call this meeting order of April 28th, 2026, 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Wood,
Here.
Councilmember Richardson,
Present.
Councilmember Arias,
Here.
Councilmember Kangiser,
Here.
Councilmember Hess,
Here.
Councilmember Johnstone,
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky,
Excused.
Mayor Pinto.
Here. Thank you. Can we get an agenda approval?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kangiser. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to special presentations. Today we have a celebration for AWC Certificate of Municipal Leadership for Councilmember Kangiser. She has completed AWC's municipal leadership or certificate, and she is only the third council member ever. Well, excuse me, the second council member, the third elected official in Yelm to ever have received that distinction. So congratulations, Stephanie. I'm gonna read a little bit about the program here real fast, and then we can go ahead and take a picture and I'll hand you the certificate. AWC Certificate of Municipal Leadership Program recognizes city and town elected officials for accomplishing training in 5 core areas: legal requirements, roles and responsibilities, and ethics, budgeting and financial management, infrastructure, transportation, and land use, building safe, healthy, and thriving communities, and effective local leadership. AWC CEO Deanna Dawson says, being a city leader in Washington is a complex job. Through our CML program, we are providing our elected officials with the knowledge they need to effectively operate within the law, plan for the future, secure and manage funds, foster strong relationships, and work to build more equitable communities. Councilmember Kangiser has completed more than 30 hours of training to earn this distinction. Congratulations, Councilmember Kangiser. Are you doing that? There. I know there are other council members that are getting close to it too. Please continue to work at that. Congratulations. Okay. Congratulations. All righty, moving right along. We are now at our public comment portion of the meeting. If there's any, we have one blue card. If anyone else wants to go ahead and address the council, myself, please fill out one of these blue cards. They are right outside on that table out there. But right now we just have one. TJ Johnson, please step to the podium and state your name for the record, and then go ahead and do it. 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm PJ Johnson. I'm the chair of the Thurston Conservation District Board of Supervisors, and here with me tonight is my board colleague, Doug Rushton. For over 75 years, TCD has been working with private landowners to identify solutions to environmental concerns and encouraging and supporting voluntary stewardship that makes Thurston County a better place for all of us to live. We're non-regulatory. We bring funding, technical expertise, political advocacy, and community trust to help local jurisdictions and property owners meet their visions and goals. Our base funding is provided through a rates and charges system paid by almost all property owners in Thurston County. There's a few in Yelm that don't. Rates and charges brings in about $565,000 a year. We use this money to leverage state and other resources. So our total budget this year is $9.7 million. But only 6% of that comes from Thurston County. Everything else is money we're bringing into the community to solve our problems. This is by far the largest budget in our history, and these funds will result in unprecedented positive impacts on our shared goals of regional conservation and environmental priorities. Last year, we worked with our local jurisdictions and residents and state and local partners to develop a new strategic plan, which we call 2040 and beyond. This is an aggressive plan, and I'm going to leave you copies of it when I go along with our annual report. It's a very ambitious plan, but it has to be, given the urgency of the problems we're facing in this county. Things like rapidly disappearing farmland, forests, and habitats, threatened and degraded watersheds and marine ecosystems, and disaster events and the accelerating impacts of climate change. So this plan is about acting now to avoid irreversible loss in the future. The plan is grounded in 4 strategic priorities. 1, protect and restore natural resources. 2, building climate resilience and preparing for disasters. 3, expanding access and community connections to land and food. And then 4th, we're committed to leading these efforts with strong partnerships and internal organizational excellence at our organization. So we're sharing this with all the jurisdictions. We've made this pitch to every jurisdiction in the county, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with all of you to make this a better place, and specifically to help align our land use policies and our conservation strategies, to develop climate and watershed solutions, to preserve farmland and expand our local food production capacity, to expand community access and education, and continuing to leverage funding as much as we can to solve our local problems here. So in closing, this plan isn't just a set of conservation programs. It's really about building a new culture where conservation is a shared way of life in Thurston County. We're all a part of the solution. And we're ready to lead that effort. Our organization is positioned to do that, but we can only do it with partners, and we can only do it with community support. So we're just asking you to be our partner, and let's work together and solve problems and keep this a great place to live. So thanks. And I'll leave copies of the plan, our overview of the plan, and then our recent annual report as well. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for making the trip. All right, is there anyone else from the audience? And is there anyone online, Cassie?
We do not have any hands raised.
All right, moving on, we have a consent agenda. We don't have a consent agenda tonight. Very rare. Moving on, we have new business ordinance under new business item A, ordinance number 1145, updating Yelm Municipal Code, chapter 6.08, animal regulations. Chris?
Good evening, Mayor DePinto. Good evening, members of council. The code update you see before you, we've seen before. We've just added some language. As far as selling animals on property, we've added some code language that allows us to fine repeat offenders. We've also added some language that regulates what types of animals people can keep in the city and regulates farm animals as well. Were there any questions or?
Councilor Wood?
Excuse me, thank you. Can you elaborate a little bit on the changes on the allowing of animals being sold in the city?
We haven't really changed anything since we last met. We just added the legal language that kind of defines the penalties for needing to do so.
Okay,
First time you get warned, second time there's a fine, third time it's a little bit a higher fine, and you could also be arrested for continuing to violate that.
okay, and what we're specifically referencing is folks selling animals on the side of the road on.
Exactly, yeah, a lot of times they're selling animals on someone else's property or.
Thank you. Councilor Kingheiser?
There's a couple of references within the, I guess, cutting to the chase of the chapter 6.08.080, where it talks about a 48-hour hold. And then there's 2 segments just under that, specifically in chapter G and then J1 as well, that indicate 96 hours. Is there maybe just a cut and paste discrepancy there? Is there a nice?
So, I think that's old existing code that we plan to look at and amend. Make sure it's uniform.
Okay. So 48 hours should be more of
Exactly.
the design. Okay.
Other
Oh.
other questions, comments? Councilor Richardson?
Move to approve ordinance number 1145, updating Yelm Municipal Code, chapter 6.08 and animal regulations.
Is there a second?
Clarifying question. If
Sure.
the intent, if that item needs to be changed, if it wasn't changed in there and you need to change that, there needs to be a motion to amend the animal code updates. So that then it would be approving it as amended.
All right, since it's been motioned and seconded already, we can have an amendment on this though.
Yep.
And at this time, Councilor Kingheiser?
I actually have one more discussion point. In chapter I regarding implanting a microchip, is that necessary? It's,
No, it's not something the city does anymore.
okay.
So that would also be amended.
Okay, digging into it a little bit, I wondered if that was necessary as well. So with that, I would move to amend the motion on the floor in two segments to change 6.08.080 chapters G and J.1 to state a 48-hour hold. And a second amendment to strike 6.08.080 chapter I regarding a microchip implantation.
Okay, for clarification, did you want that under one amendment? Both of those?
Yes, please, as I stated.
And just, I'm gonna repeat back, make sure I got it right. You want to amend chapter 6.08.80. Correct?
6.08.080
0.08.
chapters G.
I'm sorry, could you, sorry, 6.08.0
080.1.
to state G and J 21 at the end of the, to state G and J. You excuse me, could you repeat that last part about the 48-hour hold?
To state a 48-hour hold.
State of 48 to state,
Currently it states 96, but
you know.
as the question was answered, it sounds like 48 is adequate.
And then the chapter for I and microchip was 6.08.0.
It's the same 06.08.080 chapter I.
6.08.080 chapter I, remove microchip language.
Strike
Strike.
the chapter.
Strike, okay. Chapter strike. Okay, it's been seconded already, motion seconded. Do we, excuse me, well, we did, we had Councilmember Arias.
Original, but not, we have to have a second.
Correct, okay. So under this, let me repeat back the amendment would be to amend 6.08.080.1 to state chapter G and J to remove 40, excuse me, to keep 48-hour hold and strike 6.08.080 regarding microchips under chapter I, striking that.
Yes.
Councilor Hess.
I was gonna
Second that. Okay. It's now been motioned seconded. Is there further discussion on this amendment? Is everyone clear with the amendment? Okay, voting on the amendment now, not the actual motion. I'm just gonna do a verbal. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That amendment passes. Now moving on to the original motion as amended. Is there any further discussion? All right, it's been motioned seconded as this amended version. Is there any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Councilman Wood, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Richardson? How do you vote?
So we're talking about the amended version.
We are talking about the ordinance number 1145 as amended by Councilmember Kangiser.
Aye.
Councilor Arias. Councilor Kangiser.
Aye.
Councilor Hess.
Aye.
Councilmember Johnstone.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. It was a little interesting. We don't usually do these like that, but thank you very much, Councilmember Kangiser, for catching that and making that amendment. Thank you, Chris, for the presentation.
Thank all of you.
Alrighty, moving on now to item B under new business, ordinance number 1148, adoption of the 2025 to 2025 Yelm Comprehensive Plan. Gary.
Thank you. Good evening, council. Gary Cooper, Planning and Building Manager. I'm here to ask for your approval and adoption of the 2025 to 2045 Comprehensive Plan update. It's a 110-page document, so I'm gonna do my very best to be brief and just give you some of the most salient points. And then if you have questions, let me know. This is a update was required by the Growth Management Act, State Department of Commerce. We're required to do a comprehensive update every 10 years. And I'm always careful to say that doesn't mean we rewrite the document. It means we look at it comprehensively, and if there are things we need to change, we change. And if there are things that we don't need to change, we don't. So for this particular round of changes, the main things that we really had to pour into were related to housing, because there was a ton of new housing legislation that required us to do a lot of things in our comp plan related to affordable housing. The second was transportation. And once again, legislation that required the city to look at what's called more strategies for multimodal transportation. So that's things like transit, and that's bicycling, that's creating safe pedestrian routes, things that get people out of cars, basically. And then, of course, the final one, which was a brand new required chapter, everyone planning under GMA had to put in a new climate element. So we have a brand new chapter that's a climate chapter. We received grant money to do that. The city did not have to pay for that particular part of the comp plan. So we got started on this about 3 years ago, and kind of got off on the wrong foot at first. We were working with a consultant that we just weren't working productively with. So we actually released that consultant after several months and brought the comp plan mostly in-house. So most of the work in the comp plan has been done by staff. With the exception of the transportation element, we had SCJ Alliance as our consultant for that. And for the climate element, we had Confluence Environmental. Because they had to do a lot of data and modeling, et cetera, et cetera. Let me see, what else? One thing I really like about the comp plan, which has nothing to do with the required update, but you'll just see that I think it's a much more attractive document to look at. It was all just text before. And so we made a nice effort, I think, to make it more engaging for readers with photographs, graphs, and different kinds of data. I'll talk a little bit about process. So over that 3 years, we initially reached out with Nisqually Tribe, local businesses. The council has been briefed a couple of times.
Gerald.
We had a joint meeting with the Planning Commission, you might recall, where they presented both the climate and the transportation pieces. Obviously, we put stuff on the website, we've done surveys, we had an open house. So it's gone through quite a process, which culminated in the Planning Commission holding a hearing on December 28th. And they did recommend that you approve the document. So we had a study session a couple of weeks ago, of course, and I gave you copies of the document and also a copy of most of the changes that we made to the document, unless it was like a substantial, like I didn't put the whole new climate chapter in that summary, for example. So hopefully you've had a chance to review that. And with that, I will just shut up and take questions.
Questions, Councilor Hess?
Going through the plan, looking at it, as you said, you had the consultant SJC for transportation, housing, you really filled out pretty well. When I'm looking at it, the economic development, it's just a couple pages, but I know that Thurston County Economic Development gave to us a lot more. And I'm just wondering why we did not include what they had for what they recommended for Yelm for our portion.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have a great answer to that in terms of the Economic Development Council. We did reach out to the chamber and sought their input on a few occasions. I guess, I don't really have a solid answer for that piece.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Councilor Johnston?
Was the vote to recommend our approval unanimous?
I'm sorry.
Was the vote to recommend approval, was it unanimous?
Yes.
Other questions, comments? Counselor Keenan.
If I could just make a comment, I think the plan is beautiful. I think that every single person that has any doubt about how we're planning the city of Yelm should take a peek. I believe it's on the website, right?
It is.
Easy to access. The pictures are of course beautiful. But some of the points that I really appreciated were some of the tables and the charts in there pointing to 10% of our population is commuting outside of Yelm. Being able to create a Yelm that is livable and workable would be absolutely amazing. And I think a lot of the key points in here were developed throughout each chapter. So great job.
Other questions, comments? Counselor Wood.
You mentioned there was requirements that about in transportation. That
Yeah.
required us to look at different different types and different modes and things of that sort. Does it have, do the requirements go any further than requiring us to just look at it and decide whether or not, I mean, obviously, if it's something that we look at and it feels right, it works for us, and it's something we agree that we need to move forward with, obviously, but in a situation, you know, where maybe we don't agree with what Olympia is doing and looked at, you know,
Yeah.
differently on that level.
Yeah, so I meant to mention this earlier, but like the comp plan is not a regulation. It's really just setting out goals and policies, and it's really Yelm specific. So like in our transportation plan, we've laid out what we think would be, and it's always contingent upon development or public funding for projects. Like, what are the best bike routes if we had all the bike routes we wanted? Where are the best places to put sidewalks to get connectivity from neighborhoods and schools and things like that? So it's really just kind of lays out a framework for what we could do. It's not what we have to do. And of course, it's a 20-year plan. So some of the things that we would really like to do aren't really feasible right now. But in 10 years, when we've got another, 8 or 9,000 people, those things might be more feasible. So it's a 10-year plan. But we are allowed to update it one time per year if we need to. So it's also kind of a living document.
Other questions, comments? Look for a motion. Counselor Wood.
I move move to approve approve ordinance number 1148 adopting the City of Yelm's 2025 through 2045 comprehensive plan.
Second.
Second by Counselor Richardson. Is there any further discussion? Let's do a roll call vote. Counselor Wood, how do you vote? Counselor Richardson?
Yep.
Counselor Arias? Counselor Kingizer?
Aye.
Counselor Hess?
Aye.
Counselor Johnstone?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, council.
You all very much. You won't see me for the next 10 years.
Thank you. All right, moving on, item C, we have resolution 668, surplusing police vehicles. Cody.
Go ahead. Good night.
We want to say for the surplus of the vehicles. So before you are 3 police vehicles, as you know, police vehicles are in an 8-year rotation. They had multiples they replaced this year. They're keeping the 2 best ones as kind of backup vehicles. These 3 are the older ones. They are being replaced. They're of no use. We have 2 currently. The 3rd one is getting take everything off it, we can take it down, and then we'll sell it through enterprise. And that money will get returned to the ER&R fund to help buy the next round of police vehicles every year. So happy to answer any questions.
Counselor Wood.
Is there a portion of that, so the sale that, what is the portion that they actually keep in enterprise?
I believe it's $400 to sell them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I bring a couple vehicles over.
Yeah, they don't charge us very much, and we make a lot more. I look through the old auction records of when we auctioned vehicles. The last time we auctioned was, I think, 2017. And a truck that, we probably sell for a couple thousand was auctioned for $200 because only like 5 people went to the auction. And it's like, a screaming deal, which is great for people, but not great for the taxpayers who aren't getting that money back. So this is a much better deal for taxpayers. We get more money back that then goes to the ER&R fund, helps buy future vehicles.
Other questions, comments? Counselor Richardson.
Move to approve resolution number 668, declaring certain city-owned personnel property as surplus and authorizing its sale.
Is there a second?
Second.
Counselor Kingizer. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, Cody. All right, moving on to old business. There's none scheduled. Moving on to standing council committee report, starting with the Public Safety Committee.
No meeting.
All right, moving on to Public Services Committee.
Yeah, the report here, we heard earlier about the animal control that we went ahead and got done with that. And then the other thing that is interesting is there's single family homes are being turned into adult care centers. So they're looking to write some code to help make sure they have due diligence, especially with if the power to go out to have connectivity to make sure they have everything they need. So there's being some code written on that. Also, there's some things coming down the chain with EV scooters and bikes, electric being a nuisance. We call these things on the side of the street sidewalks, not side drives. So basically, if you got a self-powered like skateboard or bicycle, using your legs to power them, I think that's okay. But anything that has EV power that goes up, what's the speed limit that is dangerous?
Yeah, over 20.
Over 20, might as well just be on the road. I mean, why want people would like to walk on the sidewalk and not get surprised? Yeah, they seem to be doing pretty well though. So I guess as these things increase, we got to make sure we have the right safety, the policy and procedures to protect people. Also, it looks like we're doing an electric vehicle disconnect just to eliminate some hazard. Basically, if somebody's plugged into there, like there's no shut off switch. So they're going to have some safety things updated there. Transportation plan. This is interesting. As we talk about transportation plan, a lot of people gripe about, why do we keep building when you don't improve the roads? Cool thing is, as we build, we do get some money that goes towards that plan of interconnecting these roads. So a lot of people who drive in Yelm, we know not to drive down the main road. We always drive on the side streets. So this interconnectivity will help that side street, so those of us who live here, we know how to get around without driving down the main road. We're going to have more options. So as that interconnectivity happens, every time there's like a new structure or building that comes in, that money goes into the STIP, right? The 6-year transportation improvement plan. And that helps so we can have better roads. Interconnectivity is what I want you to grasp. Interconnectivity. This is good stuff. Okay, and then we heard about some rates, some water, sewer, and stormwater. Basically, water is going to stay the same, sewer will decrease, stormwater will increase, but overall, there's a 2% savings for the average person in Yelm. Really want to emphasize the 2% savings. Sometimes things go up, others go down, but all encompassing, we are taking a 2% savings. We heard about event rates, so fees for events coming in May, they're coming to the agenda, so council be ready to hear about some of that coming to the agenda. I think we had that on our last study session where we talked about the event rates. So that's coming on our agenda in May. Ordinance for utility rates in September will be coming around. We already talked about the police cars and the surplus. And then also there was a Habitat Conservation Plan presentation update is May 12th. Coming from the community rec updates, looks like we got Galaxy Fest on the 9th. And then the 13th is the next mosaic build. And then everybody wants to know when the splash pad's going to open. And it sounds like that's the 23rd of May. That's always exciting. And then the 25th of May is the Memorial Day ceremony at Yelm City Park. I think that's all I got.
All right. Thank you very much. Finance Committee. All right.
Just a quick question.
Yeah, Councilor Wood.
You mentioned a 2%
Yeah.
overall decrease in public utilities for folks. I'm assuming you're talking about the residential folks. I'm curious if there was any discussion on what that looks like for the business owners in Yelm, because it's a different rate structure.
Zero range.
Will not go up, will not go down. We flatline.
Okay.
Oh, good question.
All right. Good question. Moving on, General Government Committee.
Okay, so we had our meeting today. We talked about the May 5th meeting, so that's our next meeting coming up. It's our study session, but it's going to be a joint meeting with the school board over at the community center. So May 5th, 6 o'clock, but at the community center with the school board. And then we also talked a little bit more about planning towards our retreat And as well as, if there are topics that, the council would like to talk about, during that time when it's the council's time to discuss, when we're at the retreat, to provide, the topics to Kathy. And they can make kind of an agenda for us. And then we got an update on, 640, and some update on some upcoming meetings.
So, thank you very much. Moving on to Mayor, City Minister, staff reports. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Just a couple updates from the departments. Starting with the police department, they have selected an applicant to fill the new position of police records clerk. This was a newly added position here in the last few months. The new employee will start with the city on May 4th. Background investigations are ongoing with one lateral candidate, and interviews are being scheduled for entry-level candidates to fill 3 open positions. From the finance department, they're wrapping up their annual report and finalizing all impacts of the new no penny law that takes effect June 10th. Public services work has begun, as you said earlier, prepping the splash pad, but the one thing that they're going to do is they're going to repaint the blue surface. It has never been repainted since it opened, so it'll look brand new when it does open on May 23rd. Commercial permits are coming in for Panda Express site, as well as the area next to Forelli's Pizza. So stand by for what that's going to be. We will commit.
Yeah, we won't commit to anything.
We already did, but we're bringing it to it. Most importantly, coming out of public services, it's Cody's birthday today. So I said to put that out there for him. The IT department, they've been busy the last couple of weeks attending training, as well as multiple days training in an EOC setting on Camp Murray last week. And then from the executive department, we did celebrate the retirement of Donna McCann today at the community center. After 35 years of employment with the city. She is on to a different venture. And then, as stated earlier, we're preparing for the joint meeting next Tuesday with the school board to make sure that runs smoothly. And the only other thing I wanted to say is the Elected Officials Council, hosted by South Sound Military and Communities Partnerships, will take place on May 21st at the Eagles Pride Golf Course in DuPont. I forwarded an email out this afternoon to council. So if you want to, if you're interested in attending that, the mayor will be attending as well. It's at 8 a.m. I think 21st is a Thursday, and they do a breakfast, and it's a very packed 2-hour, very informative session. So if you've never been to one, I know Councilmember Kingizer has been to one. They're very entertaining. I shouldn't say entertaining, very informational. So anyway, there is a link to register on the email I forward you if you'd like to attend. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Todd. Yeah, Councilmember Wood. Thank you.
Can you elaborate a little bit on this no penny law?
Yeah. So June 10th, the state law goes into effect. So pennies are no longer going to be circulated. And so there's the issue of trying to round up or down and how that's going to work. We looked at it primarily like with our recreational, and we're readjusting the fees. So when you pay, the tax will be included that will round it up to an even number and not leave it with an odd number up or down. We plan to go live with our no penny by June 1, and the state law kicks in June 10th.
So that means
So it may impact your business.
well, I mean, but what? So if I get caught with a pocket of pennies, I'm gonna be in trouble.
It's misdemeanor.
I'm just curious, what this law, is it have any teeth? I mean, that's an odd thing.
Go ahead, Kathy.
It was more, I believe that it was more about the rounding of they have a law that, so they just identify where you round up or where you round down so that businesses are all doing it the same.
Okay.
That's for us.
Just a small correction in reference to that. The state law was in reference to the rounding. It's the federal government said no more pennies. So I just want to be known that the state of Washington is not the only state that's no longer doing pennies.
My understanding is the federal government just stopped making them. This is the first I've heard about any laws in regards to it, so that's why I was looking for a little more information.
Anything else for Todd? All right, moving on my report. Had a meeting with Representative Andrew Marcus here last week. Discussed a few state projects. Also, obviously Yelm's state project that goes through the Yelm Loop. Bids go out next week, Monday, right? Yeah, barring some other delay, which could happen, but hopefully not. Representative Marcus he seemed pretty confident it was gonna move forward. So on his end, everything seemed fine. He spoke with them about a month ago, I want to say. Arbor Day was a success over the city park here last week. Thank you for all the participants that came to it. And also thank you to all the student participants who made all the fun drawings on there and very cool drawings that they did. There's as young as I think second grade or first grade, all the way up till seniors in high school. So cool artwork. Thank you for everyone who attended, and it was a wonderful celebration. Mary Andy Ryder from Lacey was also in attendance and accepted our tree. I attended the career day over Ridgeline, as well as a couple of our employees here at the city of Yelm, from HR and from our police department. Just talked about different opportunities that the city government has for our career. Other than that, again, Donna's 35 years for the city of Yelm, quite the accomplishment, longest city employee that we've ever had, and just grateful for her years of service to this community. Other than that, study session next week over, it's been said a few times, please don't show up here, show up at the community center at 6 p.m, join with the school board, focusing mostly on questions on growth, but anything, council wants to have questions or anything like that, we're gonna have that opportunity as well. So whatever you all want to discuss too. Any questions for myself? Moving on to council member reports, starting with Councilor Wood.
I have no report.
All right, Councilor Richardson.
Nothing to report. Happy birthday, Cody.
Councilor Arias.
So I attended a study in Bucota on April 17th in their gymnasium that has been cleaned out, and I was told I was going to a very scary gym, but pleasantly they have cleaned it out and made it a usable space, and they plan on holding a town dance there. The meeting, it was great to hear, everyone's updates of what they've got going on in their town. But the conversation was kind of around a discussion of how do we encourage participation to events, not only just our events, but Rainier events, Pacoda events, Tenino events, and they talked about ideas around, a event passport type thing, and if you hit all of these events in these towns, you get put in for a drawing or something like that. So there's some conversation among this group in terms of encouraging participation in all of the great city events that they're trying to do. The other thing on April 22nd, we had the Regional Housing Council meeting. In that meeting, we did some approving of some second year funding to some grantees on some affordable housing projects. The decision was also made to move to in-person meetings. Currently, these meetings are all virtual. And so starting in June, they will move to in-person in Olympia at the Atrium. And that's all I have to report.
All right, thank you. Councilor Kingheiser.
Thank you. I attended the TMTL auction, goodness, I think last Sunday. The theme was Grease Lightning, so that was really fun to be able to dress up in that era. The thing that I really took away from that is just seeing so much of the community come together and support those in recovery, our local businesses that are hiring, these people that are in recovery, and continuing to build a life. Outside of that, I went to the Chambers Spring Expo. I participated in the 5K. Very impressed with myself for just a moment. If I can toot my own horn, I ran it in 28 minutes. So that was pretty fantastic. A good best time for me. And then thank you for honoring me today with the Certificate of Municipal Leadership. I really wanted to say that this achievement reflects not only my commitment to fulfilling my responsibilities as a counselor, but also my dedication to continued growth through education. You mentioned kind of the program and the scope of it, but really earning it, I earned a minimum of 30 credits across key topics like legal, budget, land use, community, and leadership. Some were really easy and some were a little challenging to wrap the head around, and really be mindful about that. I will continue to invest in learning so that I can serve our community the best way that I can. And I challenge each of you to do the same thing.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hess.
For intercity transit, there's going to be a public hearing May 20th at 5:30 p.m. And I'm not sure where it's at, doesn't say where it's going to be at yet. You can find that on their homepage, but it's to receive public comment on the draft intercity transit 2027-2030 TIP. So, they're working on that. They're also right now also having discussions in reference to bus routes and some of the service changes that are coming up. And so if anybody has concerns about particular bus routes, you need to just reach out to them and they will take care of that for you. Also, we have the bicycle events and Earth Day events that went well. And I believe that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnstone.
Report.
Great. Councilmember Hess.
I don't remember that. In reference to fundraising support for Habitat for Humanity, our county commissioner is doing a fundraiser. And so if you could be kind enough, she's trying to raise money to help out with the Habitat for Humanity that's occurring in our community. So I just wanted to put a bid in for that.
Thank you. All right, moving on to executive session. There is none scheduled tonight. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Councilmember Kingheiser beat it by hair. Second by Councilmember Kingheiser. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay.